we will follow up this presentation with this discussion about the future of this product. And I will give the floor to Francesco first.
Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Jonas, for introducing me. I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of what we are seeing around the Europe and around the world. GTI is a global tobacco company working across the whole spectrum of the products, from tobacco to nicotine. So we are looking into different things that are happening around Europe especially. I'm not repeating again what our friends from Tobacco Intelligence mentioned this morning. TPD2 is there. TPD2 is 10 years old. It's laid some foundation for the new products to be regulated. Still something is missing over there. At the same time, when we look into bringing alternative, potentially reduced risk products into markets, into the member states, what we see is that individual countries, they have different approaches, going from bans, as we discussed, to consumer products, to equalizing to tobacco products, to smoking. This is something that it's something we need to deal with. It's something that it's not ideal. It's a bit suboptimal, because then we don't see where is the space for global companies or even independent companies to invest into new products that can cater to consumers' preference and their attention. Can we expect something from EU, from Brussels? Hopefully, although now the outlook is not super positive. We feel that tobacco harm reduction as a concept, the fact of proposing products with reduced risk to consumers and then favoring consumer acceptance, this is not a concept that is being taken care or considered in the new directions of the policy. In the different interactions we had, the consultants and DG Sante they have been quite reluctant to include this concept into it. And this is a point that, from our perspective, from what we see from our consumers, it doesn't really fit with what consumers want. We have experience from UK with vaping to Japan with the heated tobacco products. When consumers are faced with innovative products that work with their taste, with their preferences, with their way of consuming the nicotine, and those products have a potential for a reduced risk, consumers pick them up. I can just mention Japan, where 10.6% of the population is using heated tobacco. So it's a quite relevant penetration of the category, given how young the category may be considered, just to add in terms of experience to other categories that we discussed so much today. And consumers, they were also quite vocal, as we have seen in the recent public consultation for the review of TPD. What do they say? The vast majority of people that responded, they don't believe that those new products, they create a threat to public health. They find it an important tool for them to consider as an alternative to smoking. So there was a massive support out of that. Same came from academic and research institutions. Several of them, they were very vocal into underlying the role that those products can have, including the scientific evidence behind that. And for us, it's crucial that the upcoming conversations on the new directives, the different directives or regulation that is coming from Brussels and impacting all the EU member states, that they include tobacco harm reduction and those new products as a policy tools that can be considered for the consumers.
Patrick, would you like to continue?
Yeah, I think so. As I said, snus is a national treasure in Sweden, and it was banned in the European Union in 1992, 3 years before Sweden joined the European Union. That created a live experiment, but it also created a national pride about this strange product. So anyway, when the nicotine pouches entered the market, the Swedish authorities didn't know what to do with it. It was not tobacco, so it was not regulated as a traditional snus. It was not pharmaceutical. What was it? So the industry proposed and signed for a standard, which later became legislation, basically, with an 18-year-old limit for buying this product, health warning, the amount of nicotine in the box and in the pouch, and limited marketing. This came into effect in August 2022 in Sweden. As far as I understand, this means that this product is put on the single market in Europe and should be allowed to be bought everywhere in the European Union. But if you can show that something is dangerous to health or environment, you can have certain national regulation as well. But then again, if countries like Belgium and Netherlands impose a ban on these products while still allowing cigarettes, in my opinion, they should have to prove that this product is more dangerous to your health than smoking a cigarette is. And nobody on this globe can make such a proof. Not yet, at least. You will never be able to convince anybody that these products are more dangerous than smoking a cigarette. So what are the politicians doing here? Why don't they protect the internal market, the basic principle of the European Union here? Because they're afraid of a new product that might cause addiction. Yeah, nicotine is addictive, but it's not that dangerous to your health. There is a reason why Swedish men have the half rate of lung cancer incidents compared with the average in the European Union. We have a legislation in Sweden, it's put on the market in Sweden, we have a reasonable tax level on the product in Sweden. It's so super easy for the European Commission to just adopt the Swedish legislation. That should be the answer.
I'm actually going to contradict Patrick. I think it's quite easy to convince someone that this is more dangerous than cigarettes. It seems so, at least. And if you're talking, did you hear what I started? Well,
No.
I'm going to contradict Patrick. I think it's quite easy to convince people that this is more dangerous than cigarettes. It's not correct. It's not true. But if we're looking at how legislators, like such as MEP, members of the European Parliament, when they rate their own knowledge on this product, quite a large part of them could not say if this was more or less dangerous than smoking. This lack of knowledge is very dangerous for this kind of product. I mean, we're in a situation now when we have a product that was, well, the original product, the snus, was banned in the market a long time ago. We have massive health effects, positive health effects in Sweden. But now we have an alternative that is also available on the European market. And we still have a commission that is trying to ban it, or that we're getting very clear signals that they are trying to ban it. That means that we're in a very risky situation here. I mean, this is a new product. We understand that there will be product development. There will be experimenting with a lot of different ways of getting a unique selling point for your product on the market. But some of the examples that we see right now, I think, should be within the hygiene factors of producers. To not sell this flavored bubble gum, to not put in 50 milligrams of nicotine. I think that is extremely important. In every article that you see in Sweden or in a lot of other international media as well, when there is an article on nicotine pouches, there is a little fact box at the end of the article saying that nicotine pouches contain up to 100 milligrams of nicotine. This is simply not representable for the market. As Jonas mentioned before, up to 18% is about 90% of the market, and if we are looking at above 18%, that still contains the 18 to 20 segment, which is lower than, for example, the Finnish or Slovenian threshold. So those are still sold in market that has a nicotine cap. So that part of that segment is probably a lot larger than anything 25, 30 and upwards. We're calling for a responsible value chain, as we mentioned here before. We think this is the way of actually getting forward on this issue. We're having now, for the next few years, we're having a window of opportunity to actually show that this is a product directed towards adult smokers that can be sold, produced, marketed, manufactured in a responsible way. And I would like to call out to every part of the value chain for nicotine pouches and say that this is what we need to show to the legislators if we actually want to keep this product on the market. Because, as I mentioned before, there is a real political threat here.
Thank you. And with manufacturer seated here,
Yes.
do you have any additional comments on this?
Look, the call for sustainable, evidence-based regulation, evidence-based policy, this has been a recurring theme from our company, from the industry, even from the big tobacco manufacturers for long. The initiative from NNPA comes on the same trail, and it drives into that direction. So what we see around is that regulation is there. There is sometimes some understanding that the proper enforcement is needed, and the proper enforcement is possible. This is more like a call for individual national governments to look into what regulations are already in place. Again, taking a bit of the perspective of the consumers, it's not restrictions, it's not bans that will stop the demand for it. We saw it, including for nicotine pouches in countries like Finland, where the demand was huge, irrespective of the fact that the products were basically impossible to buy in a legal way on the market. And regulating the product, bringing them into legitimacy, that turned all that demand into legitimate and controlled products. So consumer safety here is very important. And we are discussing public health policy, we are discussing citizens and their possibility of choice. I think that the call for policies that are really looking at the scientific evidence and the existing results that policies have been using around Europe, this is very, very important. We already experienced the damages and the cost of illegal trade in cigarettes. We shouldn't be doing the same mistake with products that are coming. And from a manufacturer perspective, it's important to have the right regulatory setting and framework around EU to make sure that there's a case for investing. Because there is a case for invest. There is a will to invest and to cater to what consumers are looking for, even looking at solutions that are future-proofed. It's important to find the right environment at the regulatory level and avoid that we have a checker situation where individual countries claiming issues with enforcement will then ask for bans of entire categories around the world. Thank you.
Good, thank you. And we've been discussing a lot about creating incentives and provide alternatives to those people that are looking for alternatives. Working in Brussels, mainly towards European stakeholders, we've explained the challenge, the lack of knowledge, and those are the people that will decide the future of this product. But as a comparison, Patrick,
Yes.
your experience of working with politicians in Sweden.
I think it's different in Sweden because we have this tradition, and the Swedish exemption from the EU ban on snus has created a different, say, political environment. Of course, there are concerns about minor aged using the product, some of the flavors, and the risk of dependence. But overall, there's a curiosity and a search for knowledge here. And what I can still lack at the Swedish politicians is a kind of pride that we are the best in Europe. We have the best public health data when it comes to tobacco-related disease and premature death. We know that 4,000 people in Sweden should have died prematurely if we hadn't have snus. And the equivalence on European level is something about 350,000 lives per year. These products actually prolong lives in reality. Of course, you can wish a world where nobody smokes, but that is not how it looks. So there is more curiosity in Sweden and more search for real evidence, public data compiled, and so yes, you have a much harder task than I have.
Yes, there is challenges everywhere. Francesco, would you like to contribute to your experience of?
Look, I think that we cover a lot. Just maybe a reminder on what we are talking about. Again, from my area of expertise, of where I act more directly from a personal perspective. What do we mean by tobacco harm reduction? We look into products with the potential for reduced risk, and with scientifically proven effect and reduction of reduced risk. At the same time, times consumers' acceptance. I can have the best product ever, but if it doesn't cater to what consumers are looking for, if consumers are not exposed to it and they cannot consider it as an alternative, that fails the point. And restrictions on the new categories of products will only keep existing consumers under the same habits that they have been in the last 50, 70 years. So for us, the attention is really to ensure that this is there, and that any additional restrictions or regulations are balanced and they're properly considered against the objective that they want to look for.
Robert, what is your picture of the coming years in Brussels?
Let's see. I mean, it's quite clear. We have the Tobacco Products Directive that will be revised. It's already an ongoing process. It's an outspoken policy that they did not want to present the results of the public consultation before the election, because this is an issue that is getting a lot of attention. This is something they did not want to whip up before, like to stir the waters before the election. We are expecting the summary to come quite rapidly after the new commission is in place, and then it's going to move on towards a third tobacco product directive. Maybe, what would we say, early 27?
Implementations, yes, possibly.
Yeah. So maybe a legislation in place 26. This is why we're in such a sensitive time right now. I think we really need to, even if this is an emerging market in larger parts of Europe, we kind of need to show that there is a way of providing this product in a responsible way without using, like, promoting fringe products with a super strong nicotine doses as a unique selling point. I mean, this is not hot sauce. Nicotine is actually, it's addictive. It's not bad for you in the same way as inhaling smoke, but it's still something that in certain concentrations will cause you to feel sick or bad, and in higher doses it also could be dangerous. And I mean, if we have the BFR that has assessed the nicotine pouches, saying that there should be a maximum of about 16.7. The Finnish chemical authorities have said that 20 would be a good limit. We're looking for, I think the Croatians have 17, Slovenia 20 as well. We're moving around in the same area of nicotine strength. That should be the limit. We are waiting for some kind of scientific base in order to know exactly what we should be promoting when it comes to this, but we definitely want to have a cap. I think there will be a lot of discussions as well from the anti-smoking community, which we already see are shifting over to a more anti-nicotine sentiment, which one could, from certain perspectives, understand, but in the end, if it has a negative effect on public health in Europe, then it's beside the point. Then you're missing the point of what you're doing, and you should just not be doing that. So that is my view of what's going to happen in Brussels for the next year or two.
Very good. I don't know. Should we give the words and wrap this up? If there's some final comments, starting with Francesco, maybe, or starting with Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick, please.
Yeah, I really want more curious politicians from around Europe, around the world, for instance, because I know that the Swedish members of the parliament, they are usually quite good informed, and they know the rationale that quit smoking or never start smoking is a good thing for public health. It will protect your citizens. And these are the products that actually do that. Of course, you can vape or have chewing gums or whatever. So I believe in a variety of products that prevents you from inhale toxic gas into your lungs. But as snus was banned in 1992, and there was a campaign the last time, the TPD2, to get rid of that ban, and that ended up very, very badly, with a corrupt commissioner getting fired and political turmoil all over the place. So the problem is that tobacco snus is still exempted in Sweden, so we are safe anyway. But we are not safe when it comes to nicotine pouches anymore, because those are not regulated at all on the European level. So there might be a ban, and that would be a huge drawback for Swedish society, at least. It would be a disadvantage for the rest of Europe, but in Sweden we would actually go backwards. And there's a risk of increased smoking or smuggling or black market if that ever happened. So what I want or wish for are more advocates, ambassadors, politicians that understand the Swedish experience, so that these products no longer are some kind of strange, weird, exotic things from Scandinavia anymore, but a product that should be a right for every smoker in Europe to have access to, in order to prevent tobacco disease and tobacco premature death in the European Union. And with over 80 million smokers, I think there's a huge responsibility here for politicians to actually care about them as well. So I need more people from other countries than Sweden that realize how good this is.
From my perspective, just two very simple messages for new generation product, reduced risk product. They are not risk-free. This is something that is there, and it's very clear. And consumers, existing smokers in several parts of the world, especially Sweden and other parts, they are showing new paths are possible. New paths are possible in order to tackle public health concerns. So our call is to have a joint conversation around what can cater to consumers and to improve public health policy using all the possible tools, including innovation that is coming from different parts of the world as experiences, and check where this makes more sense. And ensuring that there is the space for this innovation to continue under this concept, especially for Europe, harmonization and internal market, and consideration of public health objectives.
Okay, yeah. If I would give a final message, I would like to say that there are more than 80 million smokers in Europe. Each and every one of those who want to make a switch to a lower risk choice should be given that option without any restrictions I mean, of course, I believe that nicotine pouches is potentially the best alternative. And I would find it negligent to do anything to destroy this opportunity that we have seen real life, large scale experiment as Patrick described in Sweden. I think this is the absolutely most important part. I think legislators should be careful. I think the value chain should be careful. I think we all should contribute to informing ourselves and legislators about what is the actual problems with these products. I think that we need to come to a common description of this and find the right solutions. And that is what we will be working on the next few years.
Thank you. Before we leaving the scene, I just would like to encourage everyone from the value chain that are here, catch us afterwards. We need your support. We would like to create a network so we can work together. It will help us when we engage with politicians in Europe. And we would like to send you updates so you're aware of everything that are going on. When the European Commission is publishing new proposals, we would need your help as well to contribute with input. So please feel free and please join us for the upcoming masterclass. Thank you very much.